beautiful people, Reverend Theresa Garcia, and today I want to talk to you about something I just went through, and that is getting sick, right? Like, I see sickness as an upgrade. The way I see it, whenever I'm sick, I'm releasing stuff, whatever form it's coming out of, I'm making space for more, for new, for more light. And so, you know, that gunk or the heaviness or whatever way that you're purging is sacred. And so, you know, the funny thing is I got COVID. So I was on a bit of a hiatus and, you know, I took the full week off and quarantined, right? As I should. But I chose to, let me back up a little bit. Before that, 2 weeks prior to that, I was guided to rest and I didn't, right? Okay, I know better. Typically when I don't listen to my intuition, I will find that the universe kind of hits me with a 2x4 to get my attention, right? I'll get a couple of signs, and if I disregard, the signs get bigger, and the pain from those signs increases. And so I know I'm not the only one, right? And so I just want to invite you, if you are sick or you get sick a lot, to ask yourself a few questions. And the first question is, what is my body trying to tell me? I wonder what my soul most needs now, right? And it's not that you're necessarily, you know, sometimes it is just as simple as rest. Sometimes you need a new diet. Sometimes your environment's toxic. Sometimes your relationships are toxic, right? And so when you ask these questions, be ready to take action on whatever is identified. Because if we gain the knowledge and we don't act on it, it can be really painful, right? So if you don't want to know, don't ask, right? Just don't do it. If you're not ready to act, don't do it. And I know that this is where so many people get hooked up, right? Because we get really attached to people, places, and things. And often, especially if you have, you know, grown up in toxic environments, the toxicity is familiarity, and it feels like home because it's the same frequency, right? And so it can be confusing, and because you can be addicted to that. And on the one hand, you're addicted to it, and on the other hand, it is the thing that you need to let go. And so you just have to choose. Am I here for my highest evolution? Am I here to maintain my status quo? Because if you're here for the status quo, that is your choice. That is your free will choice, right? Only you get to decide that. But if you're on my page, most likely you are here to step into your limitless potential. And I will just tell you, as someone who has experienced insane amounts of momentum and potentiality and experienced insane amounts of lack. And so I've seen both spectrums. I've walked both spectrums. And it is just so much, life is just so much more fun when you're free, when you have the time, the money, the resources, and the energetic universal support in favor of all of your desires. It becomes a magical place to live. You every day becomes inspiring and wondrous, right? You become in a state of wonder because you know that you're going to say beautiful, powerful things, and they're going to show up in your life, and you have no idea how it's going to happen. So it is just beautiful if you choose to devote yourself to the path, and that's what it takes. It takes devotion. If you are half in and half out, 1 foot in and 1 foot out, I did that for many years. I get it, because you're comfortable in the old, but there's a part of you that wants more, right? So you're comfortable over here, but there's a part of you that wants more. And so you're willing to do some things, but maybe not willing to do all of the things necessary to be at your highest potentiality. And what does it mean to be at your highest potentiality? That means that you are in a frequency, a vibration of total wholeness, total health, total wealth, right? You have healthy, thriving relationships, and they're aligned, meaning, you know, relationships, I know I'm on the road of mastering relationships only because they have been one of the most difficult things for me, right? And so when something is your greatest difficulty that's showing up over and over and over again in your life, you are gifted with the opportunity of mastering whatever it is. And that could be sickness, it could be relationships, it could be lack, it could be all of the above, okay? And so celebrate that, because knowing that means that any day you are going to step into that mastery. And the moment that you do, you have divine understanding on something that was completely ambiguous and extremely challenging for you. And that is one of the most empowering feelings ever, right? Like when you can overcome something that has repeated itself so many times in your life and you break through, it's like the most rewarding experience, right? So, I've dealt with health problems, chronic health problems, mental health problems, all the things. And because of that, I rejoice when I feel good, when it's peaceful, when it's still, when it's quiet, when it's calm, right? And so I'm in the store with a huge freaking smile on my face because I'm happy that I can buy groceries and eat and do things. I appreciate so much more the simple pleasures of life because of everything I've been through. And so I can see that as a gift. But that is an intentional choice that takes consistent practice, right? And you have to consistently release that victimhood mentality, because victimhood mentality leads to victimhood reality, okay? And it's just not fun. Who wants to be a victim, right? So we have to take our power back. We have to take our accountability, and this is how we do it. We turn every single thing that hurts us into power by finding the gift and asking I wonder what is being birthed through this experience. And I got this from Dr. Michael Beckwith, right? I wonder what is being birthed from this experience. Anytime we're in darkness, anytime we're in pain, something is trying to come through. Something is being communicated to us. And so we need to ask the questions to figure out what it is so that we know what to release and what to embrace, and where we can bring on more light, and where we can bring on higher beliefs, and where we can release habits, people, places, and things that hold us back. So with that said, I hope you choose to see your sickness as a sacred gift and start getting as curious as you possibly can about it, because who knows what you're going to be able to do when you realize that gift. How many people you're going to be able to help get through whatever you're experiencing because you chose to find the gift. You get to share it, okay? So if you are sick, I encourage you, eat healthy. Try to, if you don't like cabbage, I get it. Find some vegetables that are very detoxifying that you do like, and do what you can. I hated red or hot peppers, but I've trained myself to enjoy them now. I can only do so much, but I choose to drink them, raw blended peppers, because they cleanse so many different things, right? And they nourish my body. And so even when I'm sick, I'm doing spicy cabbage soup because I know it's elevating the vibration of my body. And if I'm feeling sick, I'm in a low vibration. And so the more I can elevate, the quicker I'll heal. My COVID journey was 3 days, right? It was 3 days. It was real simple. And it's because once I realized what I did as far as like wearing myself out and exhaustion and ignoring the signals to rest, I did everything I could. I focused all my energy on rest and rejuvenation and health. And sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes that's why these problems or challenges come up, so that we could focus intensely on what we are trying to create. All right, y'all. Many blessings. Thank you so much for joining. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please share any comments below. Many blessings.